Bianca with Leaders in Business podcast for CEOs and executives in the digital marketing and social media space share their best advice. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know what they're talking about. So let's get to it. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much for having me, Bianca. So I'm a senior digital marketing manager at Social SEO, and what that really means is companies tell me their goals, and I help them translate that into an actionable digital marketing strategy, and we kind of work together to make something that fits within their needs and timeline.
That's very interesting. So what's the best thing about leading your business?
I'd say that one of the best things about being in digital marketing today is the exposure and visibility it gives us to some amazing people that if you rewind 10, 20 years, I'd never have the chance to meet, let alone work with. And so what a cool world where I get to collaborate with leaders of their industry around the world without even leaving my lounge room.
Absolutely. So I hear from others that it can be challenging to grow your business today with everything that's going on right now. So what are the biggest challenges you see business leaders facing today?
It's definitely a difficult time to be growing your business. And I'd say that one of the biggest challenges is I'm finding is connecting with your desired audience. The digital world is amazing in that we can be connected with anyone, anywhere, but you have to know how, and it's not a very intuitive landscape. And so I find business leaders being a bit disoriented in terms of what should I be doing to get to the audience I'm trying to reach.
Awesome. So what is the best advice that you can give to other business leaders about creating a successful business?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I'd say the first three big things that come to mind is be authentic, be intentional, and be consistent. We find that there's a lot of people online who drop the authenticity ball trying to get to what they perceive to be a popular character or a popular position to occupy. But people are really good at picking up on inauthentic content. And I think we're getting better at that as there's more and more inauthentic content. So that's step one. Don't be someone that isn't you. Otherwise, you're never going to get anywhere. Be intentional in the sense that you need to think through what you're doing. It shouldn't be just I post when I feel like it. I post cross my mind. Be strategic, think ahead in terms of what you're doing. And with that sort of caveat in mind, be very specific about your sort of consideration of paid media versus organic. Both are critical to success in this day and age. You can do it just organically, but it's extremely difficult. And keep a close eye on what you're trying to get out of your paid and organic activities around the internet. And then the last call out there is be consistent. I find a lot of people will kind of play really hard on a social media strategy for a short period and then give up on it or focus attention elsewhere. You need to be consistent. If I come to expect a really exciting video from you every Friday at 2:00, don't change that strategy and then invest your chip somewhere else. As you build that pattern, your audience is going to get used to it and start expecting it. So be consistent, be authentic, and be intentional would be my 3 pieces of advice.
All right. So being a senior digital marketer, is that correct? Right?
Yep, correct. Yep.
So with what you do with your experiences, can you give an advice or tips to our audience, because some might be a digital marketer or who wants to be a digital marketer in the future. So do you have any advice with those 3 advices that you gave, that how can they be able to be authentic, be consistent, and be intentional being a digital marketer?
Yep. I'd say the first thing to say is be shameless there. Whoever you are, good on you for being you, and just be yourself. It sounds so simple, but it is so important, and that's that authentic piece. The other thing I'd sort of elaborate a little further there for you, given that prompt, specifically in how to be successful online. There's sort of a 3-step process I talk about in my webinar series. Of first and foremost, build out the organic assets that are important for you. Like identify, is it your website? Is it your Facebook profile? What's going to be the pivotal piece for your sector, for your industry? If you're not sure what that answer is, look at the market leader. What's important for them? If their success is primarily about Facebook, you probably need a Facebook page, right? Build out the organic assets you need. Step 2 is use paid media, leverage paid media. Once you've got that organic footprint out there, paid is absolutely the way to be getting things really happening. And the gap between, kind of a mum and pop shop out of a garage that's kind of just getting started, and that sort of flourishing story we all love to hear of someone that's been highly successful. 99.9% of the time, that includes paid media. So build out those organic assets. Once you've got them, leverage them using paid media. And then step 3 is simply revise endlessly, never stop. Circling back on how can I improve further. The process of tinkering and improvement should never end in a digital marketing strategy. So be continuously looking for those new opportunities to improve the performance of those projects you've got live.
Well, yeah, that's very fantastic. So, what other successful business leaders like yourself would you like to acknowledge and should be on the podcast?
Yeah, I gave a lot of consideration to this one. I'm going to call out Jennifer Hickman. So last name Hickkerson, first name Jennifer. She's here in the Springs with me, and I just really like her LinkedIn sort of strategy. I enjoy her content. I think she does a good job of posting. And for the record, she's a copywriting and SEO specialist here in the Springs for healthcare and medical specifically.
All right, that's awesome. I will look them up. So now for the final fun question, who is the most interesting person to follow on social media and why?
I thought this one too a lot. And look, there's some people that are fun. There's a lot of comical answers we could give here. But I've actually in the end landed on perhaps a more serious answer, which is Ray Dalio. I really, really love his Principle of the Day posts. I'm a big fan of his content, of his book, of the whole lot. And I find having him on my feed is just that daily reminder of some things that can be really easy to forget, but are pivotal to success. So my answer there is going to be Ray Dalio.
All right, it was a pleasure having you on. So how can people find you?
Bianca, thank you so much for having me on. People can email me directly at simon@socialseo.com if that's a convenient way to communicate. I'm also very active on LinkedIn. So if you look for Simon Golding as a Social SEO employee on LinkedIn, you'll find me there.
Well, that's a wrap. This is Bianca with Leaders in Business Podcast. For more insights and ideas, go to our website, leadersinbusinesspodcast.com.